X is moving into position, happy enough to take command. Team Picnic Post and It's an interesting one for them, haven't they? They've got Fabio Jakobsen, who's searching for the form of a few years ago, really struggling just to find it as yet, but looked quite good, you have to say, on stage one of the Alula Tour. Not able to represent in the sprint, but made the split in the crosswinds, suggesting that there's a decent amount of power there. Fabio Jakobsen, will he be able to display the sprint of old, or will it be up to Casper van Uden, stage winner in Giro d'Italia in 2025 for the Team Picnic Post and squad? He was 8th on a stage of Tour Down Under in Australia last month.
It would be nice to see Jakobsen back. He had a horrendous crash, as everybody knows, and he came back to winning ways not long after that. But over the kind of last year, he's just been missing a little bit. Wasn't that long ago he was European champion as well, but from what I saw earlier, he definitely has the form. When it comes to sprints, he's just not quite there yet. And I would possibly go for Casper van Uden before Jakobsen 100% today. And I think that's the way that the team will look at this one. It's going to be a slightly different sprint to we had last year. Last year, if you can remember, it wasn't too much. They were on the right-hand side of the roads. Wasn't too much of a wind. But now we've got a crosswind finish. So for the last kind of 1,500 metres, the wind is coming from the right-hand side. And that means that everybody will be on the left-hand side, and the last thing you want to do is kind of get blocked into the barriers and not get out. So yeah, of course position is going to be key, but like you mentioned earlier on, positioning is key, but timing is even more essential.
Yeah, more than the secret of good comedy. The secret of good sprinting is all about timing, isn't it? Block headwind at the moment, spread wide across the road. Ineos on the right-hand side. And it's the opposite side of the road, commanded by the UAE team Emirates XRG. That's exactly the position they'd like to be. We're fully 10 kilometres from the line here, and things started light up a little bit as suddenly everyone wants to control into the next little road impediment. Just a little increase, injection in pace, and Decathlon's also showing well. Groupama FDJ up towards the front. Groupama FDJ's jerseys reminiscent of the old Motorola jerseys that you might be familiar with, Brian. Certainly the colour combination. X as well on those yellow helmets, red jerseys. Cheek by jowl with the UAE Team Emirates squad. X World Tour outfit these days. Movistar is starting to move up as well. Protection, the order of the day for them, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what Ineos Grenadiers are doing there. Seem to be kind of looking after Tarling, and of course, they would love Tarling to do what he did last year, win the time trial, take the leader's jersey. As I said before, for the likes of Sam Welsford, we know he's a top sprinter. He's failed over the last couple of years to convert European form. I know we're not in Europe, but anywhere outside of the Australia, he's kind of failed to convert. You just don't do it in a Tour Down Under and don't do it anywhere else. So whether it's a mental block or anything, I hope he gets round that, because I do like him as a sprinter. He's a good sprinter. But they seem to be letting him do his own thing, looking after Josh Tarling, because the last thing they want is the potential of the stage win tomorrow and the leader's jersey. I think that's why they're looking after him. You can see Ben Swift over there, but Sam Welsford is a little bit kind of further back over on the kind of right hand sides. No real panic. It's the thing is with these kind of headwinds running towards these finishes, we get this block all over the front of the race. No one really wants to take it up at top pace, because no one can sustain it. There's only so many I would say metres. We're not talking kilometres here that you can ride on the front at over 50 kilometres an hour. So this is why we're seeing everybody kind of bunching up, everybody trying to get in colour order, everybody trying to stay near the front. Welsford is just coming up now to join his teammates, so they've got themselves in a good position now. They're coming up. Still 7.5 kilometres to go, Declan, and still a long time to be riding in the front at over 50 kilometres an hour, and that's why we're seeing all this kind of bunching up, because they're not riding as a kind of lead out. They're not really going full gas for the moment anyway.
Peloton switched on a bit though, hasn't it? There's a sense that suddenly we're into the final moments of this stage. But as you say, fully 7 kilometres. How many teams are willing to invest riders? Probably the GC outfits with not much of a sprint option might be willing to just put a little bit more into it. The Ineos Grenadiers squad certainly have Sam Welsford, as we've mentioned. Stage win in Australia, but can he do it further afield? Tarling and friends close to the front at this moment, trying to maintain a position of strength. Ben Swift as well is also the British veteran, former British national road race champion, and a rider who in his certainly the earlier years of his career would have been interested in this finish. He'll represent for Sam Welsford today.
See, there's an art in this. You don't really want to use too many of your teammates too early, and it's just managing to stay near the front without actually committing riders to the front. So this is where we start to see a little bit kind of more of this kind of washing machine effect. Riders that come up, and even more so when we get close to the kind of 3 kilometres to go. So yeah, you can sit back a little bit, and some of the teams have decided, right, they want to take it on from the front, one of them being Ineos Grenadiers in the orange and the grey shorts on the right hand side. But there's a lot of other teams just sitting back. But the only problem you have of sitting back a bit is getting swamped and not getting a good position. But yeah, it's all this organisation, and everybody knows that getting together on block, on mass, it's very difficult to stay on mass. You can do it either side of the roads, but it's a lot easier if you've got maybe 3-4 maximum riders. They can move around the peloton together a lot easier than, you know, 6 or 7.
Well, the Lotto Intermarché squad got command at the front of the peloton, albeit briefly. The Ineos Grenadiers squad wide on the right-hand side of the road. Their man Sam Welsford safely in the pocket at the moment. 5k to go. The speed, for the first time in a while, despite the fact that it's fundamentally a headwind, has stepped up to north of 60 kilometres an hour. It's all getting busy. So we go on board with Johan Jacobs giving us this wonderful bird's eye, well, it's a peloton view of what's going on, the chaos and the confusion and the excitement. Groupama FDJ rider giving us those great images. The Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe squad trying to stay out of trouble on the left-hand side of the road at the moment. And everyone is just trying to take a chance to move up past one rider, past 2 riders, and a few riders past you. It all can change in a heartbeat, in an instant. But at the moment, it's all looking cool, calm and collected at the front of the peloton for the Ineos Grenadiers squad. They're handily positioned on the right-hand side. They've got their entire group into position just yet. Other teams trying to assemble more riders close to the front. They found wide, and it's the Lidl Trek squad of Jonathan Milan that decide to back the Ineos train on the right-hand side of the road, left-hand side of your picture.
Yeah, he's got Dan Hurla in front of him, and then Consoni. They're happy with that. It's small. There's 3 of them. They can move around. They can adapt very, very quickly. Not like you've got, you know, more riders and, you know, you're waiting for one rider to come through. We see the decathlon team trying to kind of muster themselves. They're quite happy to allow Ineos sit behind them and use them. I think that tactic is probably going to help them instead of getting everybody up, because it's always very difficult. I know Ineos Grenadiers on the left-hand side have done it, but I can just remind everybody that we get into the last 3 kilometres, that's a sprint zone. So anything, any crashes, anything happens, punctures, anything like that, everybody will be given the same time. But there will be time of taking on the line. There will be gaps in this peloton, so it's very important for the GC riders to stay near the front as well.
So the Decathlon AG Tour, as a CMA CGM squad, as they're newly monikered, assemble on the front. Nice show of strength for them, protecting the interests of their overall contender, Felix Gal. Case Ball as well is in the pocket for them. And they're using Polifleet, who might have been a sprint option, on the front at the moment. So he's investing, and it's got to be all up for Case Ball today. Felix Gal will try and stay in position. 3k to go, and approaching that 3 kilometre mark, which will be a source of great relief to a lot of the GC contenders. They've made it to to this point, and they'll get the time of this group should there be any significant mishap from now. But everyone wants to maintain a position and make sure they're not on the wrong end of any split that happens in that peloton, and a split is certainly very, very possible inside that final kilometre.
Yeah, Decathlon on the left-hand side with 4 riders there. I have to say that India's Grenadiers have done a tremendous job there. They have got Sam Welsford, they have done it in numbers. As I said in my commentary, very difficult to do. Jonathan Milan has found himself on the left-hand side. His teammates are now on the right-hand side. But in a sprint like this, you're hoping that you'll meet at some point together. There's no way that Jonathan Milan can go over to the right-hand side. And, you know, that's what he has to trust his teammates to be able to do. But they're deciding now to trust India's Grenadiers. And Jonathan Milan now is in the wheel of Consoni and Dan Hula at the front. So they're just about to try and hit the front now.
Makuta's on the front as well in the centre of your picture for the Tudor Pro Cycling. He's got 2 of his black-clad teammates just behind. Is it Foythevo that's trying to put himself into prime position just behind? They'll also want to protect Michael Storr, their GC man. Hard on the left-hand side of your picture, the Decathlon squad have Case Ball nicely, handily in the pocket. He's got 2 in front and nicely positioned Robbie Hayes to lead out for him. But will they be still in command? And that's what they're racing for this week. That red jersey will be on the shoulders of the rider who wins this stage today, as NSN make their first appearance on the front. Ethan Vernon on some good form and going for glory today. Will be a finely judged effort to stage winning Tour Down Under for the British rider. Can he repeat here on stage 1 of UAE Tour? As we head towards the turn that will take them under the kite, we'll ramp around and make our way towards the imposing structure that is Liwa Palace, looming in the distance, looming large, and taking them, well, they'll see the finish line pretty much from here, and everyone will be tempted to invest, but we've still got almost 1.5 kilometres to go.
Yeah, now it's NSN at the front. You know, they are doing a terrific job. It's still 3 riders on the right-hand side for India's Grenadiers, a third of them being Sam Welsford to Milan.
Oh, crash, riders down. We see them picking their way through it. Any significant riders in there? Dreisner's was one that we spotted, but, well, we'll change and focus our attention now on those that are battling for stage honours as they look left and right to see who's available from the team. And the Ineos Grenadiers still have Welsford in prime position.
I think Milan's down. He's in the centre
Jonathan
of the picture.
Milan, stage favourite, and Jonathan Milan on the ground. The little Trek rider is not going to repeat last year's success. Huge frustration for Jonathan Milan. We hope he's going to be able to get back up, but he's not going to be able to take the win today. So certainly it's all open, and a lot of riders will believe at this point. As still the Ineos Grenadiers, and still, what, 800 metres to go. Make that 700. They have command. They've got 2 riders. Welsford must be chomping at the bit and waiting for his moment to pounce.
Yeah, he is sitting third wheel there. He has to be very, very patient. You can see that, you know, Red Bull moving up here. They've got, you know, they're trying to look after the likes of Evenepoel, who's just on the right-hand side, moving up now with Alpecin Premier Tech. But this is a long, long sprint.
It's a long, long way to go from here as Matteo Milan also trying to get involved for the Groupama FDJ United. So one Milan for another potentially. They're all trying to make their way onto the tail of the Groupama FDJ riders, working their way to the finish line from here. And could this be a sensational win? Huens it is for the Groupama FDJ squad. Huens has a little bit of an advantage, but they're coming to pounce. The late show, Isaac Del Toro. Del Toro gets the front, and Isaac Del Toro, a sprint victory from a non-sprinter in prospect here, and they're floundering in his wake. He's got bike lengths of an advantage, but will he be able to command all the way to the line from here? They're frantically trying to get on terms. Inside 100 to go, and he might just have gone a little bit early, just as Pogacar did 12 months ago. And will he be able to hang on and pounce and hold off Case Ball on the run to the line? He throws it at the line. It's Isaac Del Toro that gets the victory. Case Ball, I believe, second across the line for the Decathlon squad. But what about that? It's the UAE squad that take the glory on stage 1. And, well, celebrations all around. And, well, Taveri and among those that come up to congratulate him, but it's the Mexican champion, Isaac Del Toro, that takes the victory on day 1 and is into the red jersey early.
He shot out the front of that group there like a bullet. Unfortunately, Milan, he went into that bottom roundabout in about just over 20th place. I thought I was going to mention I think he's a little bit too far back. He can't panic. But unfortunately, coming out the roundabout, he get tangled up. There was a crash. So last year's winner wasn't able to contest again. But wow, this... If you can remember last year, Pogacar went from distance. So did he. He held it on. He's in terrific form at the moment. The Mexican delivers here in the first stage of the UAE Tour. It was a really interesting sprint. A lot of the sprinters going to get blown away. A little bit too difficult for them. But in the end, Case Ball, the best of the kind of sprinters. Tiberi getting up there in third place. Malicelli, who said, this is